We're going to stay in East Clare and we're going to go up the road a little to Ogonnelloe, where a local filmmaker has been selected for Screen Ireland's Spotlight programme. Screen Ireland has announced the latest writers selected for its flagship Spotlight, where its focus is on the Irish myths and legends scene, with a record number of applications from across the country. We are very lucky to say that a local lad has won the day, has qualified for it, has been selected. That's Oisín McKeogh. He joins me in studio now. Oisín, first of all, you're very welcome to Morning Focus. You must have been thrilled when you got the news that you were selected for Spotlight. Could you tell us just a little bit more about what exactly Spotlight is in, I suppose, the realm of Irish film?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much for having me as well. So Spotlight is Screen Ireland's flagship writing talent development scheme, and I believe it's been running since 2018. So it's meant to give new writers an opportunity to receive development funding and work with script editors and mentors to get work to an industry standard and to hopefully launch careers. So this specific iteration was based off of Irish myths and legends. So I was pitching a TV show based on one, and will now be developing that into the pilot episode and detailed Bible, which is very exciting. And it's great to be receiving that support and to be able to represent Clare on the national stage.
And Oisín, I'm sure for a lot of people who maybe aren't film buffs, some of this might not resonate with them quite as well. So I'll just, and not to butter you up or anything, but I'll just tell them all about your recent achievements, just so they know what this actually means. And in recent years, you were shortlisted for the Best Emerging Director Award. You've also won the Screen Directors Guild of Ireland Director of the Year for 2024. And you've made a number of short films and films that have screened at film festivals all over the world, including Camera Image in Festival, and you were even recently debuted in Seattle too. So, Oisín, I know you're nice and humble over there, but you are making waves on the international scene. Your latest project is entitled Big Super Mega Genius, and people might be wondering, what myth and legend is that related to? Will you tell us?
Yes, so Big Super Mega Genius is my interpretation of the Salmon of Knowledge story, but for a slightly more modern audience. And I'll keep the full plot under wraps for now, but it's taking that Salmon of Knowledge and bringing it into a kind of a more fun, absurd Irish light for a modern day audience.
And how difficult is it when you want to make a film? Because obviously, look, first of all, you've to hatch that idea yourself. You have to write it up. There's some amount of creativity and brainpower needed to, I suppose, write those characters into reality, but then you have to assemble your film crew, you have to get it filmed. There must be a serious cost in this, or how do you go about doing it all?
There is. I mean, it's such a huge beast of a thing to do, but I mean, I made my very first film when I was 12 and in 6th class, and that was with a group of friends that we shot in like 4 hours, and that was with a tiny little action camera where there's no money. It's just purely about the vibes and having fun with your friends. So from repeating that year after year, you slowly start to learn a little bit more and invest in your storytelling and the craft. But it's now at the point where you're always working with a big, huge team of collaborators. And of course, you have to be coming up with the stories and motivating people and getting people involved any way you can. But I'm very fortunate to have had such great support from the community in Clare and from friends and colleagues who are really willing to put in the time and collaborate on these projects with me. So it is a big, huge undertaking, but I absolutely love the process, and I love being able to come up with stories and share them with people and hopefully get audiences to watch them. So yes, it takes a Trojan amount of work, but I think it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah, and coming up with those stories, like, you're from Ogonnelloe yourself, right? You're from the picturesque east of the county. You're not too far either from Edna O'Brien country in Tuamgraney, which, of course, one of the world's most famous writers. Is there a lot of creativity coming from your local surroundings?
I believe so, and I think there's a lot of very talented people in the region as well. And Ogonnelloe's so picturesque and lovely, and for me, it's always about digging a little bit deeper with the stories and thinking what else could be going on in an area or in a world. So yes, I feel very inspired by the region, and I moved back here after graduating from college in November 2024, and I found it's been a great way to settle the brain and get some writing done and get some films made.
And from what I picked up from just having a quick scan of your work, Oisín, is that while your ideas are simple, I suppose, or they come from simple places, they really are resonating worldwide. For example, you made a film not too long ago, a short film, about a West Clare farm. And that was one of the ones that was played in Seattle, for example. Could you tell us a little bit about that, just how the idea came together and how that came from taking your camera out, looking at how just a simple family farm ran in West Clare and how that captured the imagination of the world?
Yes, so that was actually about Jim Cronin, who is a farmer living in Clare, and I had known him for a couple of years and got into contact with him about just putting together a little short piece. We were trying to do something a little bit cinematic and something that would showcase his lifestyle and his philosophy. And it ended up being myself and my friend Maya, who was filming, got to spend a couple of lovely days with Jim and just got to follow him around, seeing what he does. And it was just such a nice project and a nice thing to be following Jim and getting him to talk to us and seeing what he does. So we found then that when we actually edited that project and submitted it out to festivals, it did resonate on a global level and got into the National Film Festival for Talented Youth in Seattle, along with a couple of other festivals. So it's so great that people are looking for Irish stories and they're looking for these Irish characters, and people, especially outside of Ireland, want to see more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just looking at other things there in this Spotlight programme, you're going to be working now with industry professionals and I suppose mentors that have made it in the Irish scene. Have you come in contact with anybody to date? Have you rubbed shoulders with anyone that you'd like to work with into the future, or I suppose that have already graced the Oscars, the Golden Globes?
I haven't been able to directly work with huge names, but if Jessie Buckley would give me a text, I wouldn't say no. But no, there's so many people very, very talented working in Ireland now, and it's great to see that talent coming from regions outside of Dublin as well, especially. So I'm hoping to be able to meet and collaborate with all of these up and coming people and hopefully continue making films together.
Well, Oisín, we certainly wish you all the best. Before I let you go, our competition obviously today is indeed to find our listeners' best wedding story, and they will win the €50 fuel voucher for Shields, the surface station on the Gort Road in Ennis. If they have the best one, if you try to film now, Oisín, about an Irish wedding, what would be the key elements?
I think, coming from a storytelling perspective, think about what are the most obstacles you can throw at yourself, what has gone the most wrong. And I think those are always the best stories, where everything is wrong and you have absolutely screwed yourself.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that can relate to that one. Oisín McKeogh from Ogonnelloe, and I think we're going to be hearing this name a lot more into the future, and has been most recently selected for Spotlight, which is Screen Ireland's prestigious flagship programme for upcoming creative writers in film. Oisín, thank you very much for joining us in studio today, and we wish you all the best.